What's up, everybody? Hope you're all doing okay, and hopefully you can all hear me okay. So, is this the first live stream I've done in my new office? I'm not sure. Let me check. I feel like the weeks have been blurred together, and I've recorded a couple of YouTube videos now, of course, but I can't remember whether I've actually done a stream from here or not. Maybe I did an AMA with somebody. I don't know. So many live streams. How are you all doing today? Hope you're all doing well. Sorry we went live a little bit late. So we have a catio, and the cats are out there, and I just hear howling and hissing. And my cats, they have their tuffles from time to time, but there's a new cat in the neighborhood who likes to come around, and boy, my two cats do not like him. So it's a good thing they're in the catio. Otherwise, fur would be flying. That's for sure. I think the problem is I've got two female cats, and they've both been uh, whatever you call it, neutered. But I think the male cat is quite young and hasn't been snipped yet, which is kind of irresponsible, letting cats out without giving them the snip. But it's what it is. I won't judge them too much. Maybe I'll do some CNT. No, wait, CNR, capture, neuter, return. We'll see. We'll see if it keeps coming around in a few months or so. Anyway, how are you all doing today? Couple of announcements. So just a heads up, Privest courses are going bye-bye, unfortunately. We will hopefully refresh them at some point in the future, but it's not on our immediate roadmap. We're working really hard on a couple of other courses. So we've got SOC 201, which is going to be a huge course in the pipeline. We've got Andrew Bellini working on, or Digital, aka Digital Andrew, working on practical security fundamentals. So 2 new modules for PSEC have dropped today. So if you're on the Academy, basically what's happening with the practical security fundamentals is every month we're dropping a couple of modules, and then once it's finished, it will then go onto the free tier. But if you have access to the Academy, you're basically getting early access. So one of the many benefits of being a subscriber in the Academy, but if if you're unable to be a subscriber to the Academy, I know that everybody's situation is different, then eventually it will be a free course as well. So let me pull this up. Actually, my camera is like right in the way of my second monitor, which is kind of annoying at the moment. So we've got defensive tooling, which is quite a big module. There's like at least, I don't know, 8, 9, maybe 10 videos in there. So it covers everything like firewalls and IDS and IPS and EDR. And things like this. And then there's also vulnerabilities and exploits. And if you've never done exploited anything before, it steps you through like how to do some basic exploitation to do some privilege escalation. And then it also talks about like CVEs, CVSS, CWEs, and stuff like this. So really, it's like the fundamentals of cybersecurity. If you work with anybody who works in cybersecurity, or if you're looking to move into cybersecurity, it's going to help you bridge that gap. It's going to teach you all the lingo. It's going to teach you all about different tools and systems and the CIA triad and all of that kind of stuff as well. So and there's some nice exercises in there as well. But yeah, I think those are the only 2 announcements, or 3 announcements. 1, cat shenanigans. 2, retirement of Privest courses. So if you haven't already, feel free to pick them up. I think they're available for another 8 hours or so, maybe 12 hours max. So pick those up if you want to. And of course, new modules for PSEC. All right, that's the responsible stuff out of the way. How are you all doing? Now we can just chat and chill out and just be friends for the next 2 hours or something like this. Let me check in with everybody. How are you all doing? Who got the first? Ooh, Joffrey Atadado. Sorry if I said your name wrong. First in the chat. Very, very fast. Good job. Let me scroll down. So anime FEK, animefk. I'm not sure how to say this name. What kind of career guidance do you need? Give us some more details, and hopefully we'll be able to answer you some questions. Can't promise I know everything because I don't know everything, but hopefully I can give you some tips or some insights, which should be good. What's up, Rubius? What's up, Mary Ellen? Can see all the regulars hanging out, so all good. What time is a flat circle? This, I feel like this could be a controversial comment if we're talking about the Earth, which, you know, just to clarify before people jump on that, I don't think the Earth is flat. Just in case somebody like extrapolates from my random comment. What's up, Hamza? How are you doing? Let me see whether we have any questions. So I'm just scrolling through the chat to quickly catch up, and then we're all good. Oh, what's up, Hiro? How are you doing? All right, so I need some suggestions to learn. Let me actually make my screen a little bit bigger because the chat is really tiny. Sorry, 2 seconds. All right. Oh, now it's like, there we go. Need some suggestions to learn practical ethical hacking or bug bounty. Well, if you go to the Cyber Mentor YouTube channel, there's like the practical ethical hacking 20-hour course, or like it's 2 12-hour courses. However long it is, it's like more than 20 hours. There's like part 1 and part 2. That's your best place to start. Honestly, going through his course is really good, not because it actually just do any like comprehensive course. Well, not comprehensive course, but like just do any big course, because it's gonna fill so many like buckets of knowledge that you can then build on in future, rather than like leaving loads of gaps. If you just try and learn through like osmosis by doing like, you know, random boxes, and maybe you have like somewhat of a methodology and you pick up some things from here, and you know what SMB does, but you don't know about like Windows services, and you do know a little bit of Linux, it's not going to like fit together, or it's going to take a very long time to fit it all together. Whereas if you do a course, which, you know, you can do our free course, it's on YouTube, there's 20 hours of it, you're going to get like a really good foundation, and then like that's your bubble, and then your bubble can expand rather than just having like splodges, disconnected splotches, if that makes sense. I'm not sure if my metaphor makes sense to everybody, but it makes sense to me. And yeah, that's what I suggest, is get yourself through a course. And also doing a course, right? If you can't make it through a 20-hour course, which, yeah, 20-hour course is a long time, but if you stop halfway, or if you get distracted with some other things, then maybe ethical hacking isn't for you. It's like it's a good check to see, do I really want this? Is this something that I'm really interested in? Because there's going to be boring parts, and if you can't get through the boring parts, then unfortunately doing it as a day job is not fun. Unless you like, if it's what you want to do, it's fun, but you know, it's not all fun, if that makes sense. So I think that's the best place to begin. All right. Today I've got a box. I think, though, it might be a little bit on the simple side because there's only one flag to get. It's a box called Lo-Fi. So we're going to do that. And then depending on how we get on, I've got another box that I want to take a look at. So we might be doing 2 boxes today. We'll see. But we're just going to do some easy web stuff as usual. I am working on... Excuse me. I am working on... no, let me just share these links quickly. Where am I? I'm working on some like live CTF stuff. So hopefully in future streams, we can like work on a box as a group. And then you guys in the chat can also attack the instance, and we can, I don't know, have some fun together. So I've built a couple of CTFs that we can do on live stream, but I haven't like hosted them, and I haven't done load testing yet. And so we're a little bit far off, but maybe in a few weeks, probably next month, I think would be good, because this month has been busy. We got a lot of stuff in the pipeline this month. So hopefully next month we'll have some stuff for you. Recommendations on chair. So this chair that I've got, the Secret Lab one, I really like it. It's really nice. Mostly, it's really big as well, so I can sit cross-legged on it. Cross-legged on it. I wouldn't get the ones that are like smooth, kind of like fake leather or whatever. This is like a fabric one. Even though my cats love to use it as a scratching post, the fabric is much nicer than, especially when it's hotter, than like the plastic fake leather, whatever it's meant to be. So if you do get a Secret Lab chair, make sure you get the fabric ones. Other than that, I haven't really tried any other chairs. It was between this and the Herman Miller, and the Herman Miller was just so expensive. I was like, it's kind of like throwing money away. There's no way there's any benefit from £1,000 chair from a 300-400 pound chair. It's like everything in life. If you buy in the middle, you get something that's just as good as the top end, or maybe like a tiny percentage that you wouldn't notice a difference on. Maybe the packaging is nicer on the Herman Miller, and you save a ton of money, which you can spend on whiskey or whatever it is you want to spend your money on. So TCM security courses, Prevesc courses, that's what you can spend your money on. But yeah, the Secret Lab one, I really like it. I've had it more than 2 years now, and it's been really, really good. So yeah, I definitely recommend. And if anybody works at Secret Lab and they're watching this live stream, I mean, if you want to sponsor, us, obviously, we love sponsors. It's all good. I'm joining on YouTube while I use the chat on my laptop. Nice. I have to say that I'm joining Practical Bug Bounty. Yeah, nice. That's good. I've done the slides up to the VirtualBox /Kali bit. Yeah, nice. Good. Let us know how you get on. A few of us like contributed to this course. So you've got Heath in there. You've got Jonah from Integrity. You got me doing like a lot of the labs and stuff. So yeah, this is a good way to start. How to start CTFs. Read write-ups. So go for easy challenges and follow write-ups. Once you've done like 100, then you'll start seeing like similarities and things. Yeah, I think that's the best way. It's the same with anything. Like when you're studying something, you learn like what's the techniques, what's been seen before. It's the same as anything else. And then you start to see patterns and things. You learn how systems work. But yeah, write-ups are by far the best way to start learning CTFs. Oh, do we think we can have some dedicated security courses on SAP? This is a Andrew Bellini question, I think. It's painful to use, but unfortunately extremely popular. Doesn't seem to be any labs on it. Yeah, setting up labs for SAP is quite complicated, I think, and you need like particular hardware and stuff like that. I mean, it's not on our current roadmap, or at least not for like the next year. If somebody comes to us and says, hey, I'm a SAP expert and I want to make a course, then like we're open to working with like people who are experts in the field who can put together courses. But like I say, we probably won't have it if we do have one, it won't be at least until next year. And I suspect Andrew Bellini would be the man for it because like that's his wheelhouse. He knows a lot about that kind of stuff. So yeah, sorry we don't have anything like in the works at the moment for SAP. What's up, Messy Messiah? I'm breaking and conflicted between GRC and pentesting. Could you speak on the pros of pentest versus GRC? Yeah, this is a great question. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it kind of boils down to what skills you have and what you want to do. So obviously, pen testing is quite technical. And within pen testing, and also within GRC as well, there are lots of different like fields and roles. If you like reading, writing code, if you like running tools, If you like doing pen testing, then do pen testing. If you don't have any technical background, but you find the world of cybersecurity interesting and you find the news interesting and you like talking to people and you like project management and you like spreadsheets and compliance work, then GRC is going to be your thing. I would say that especially with GRC, you have to have like a very broad knowledge, but you probably don't need to go like super deep into any particular area within cybersecurity, but you need to know, a bit about each subject so that you can talk properly with the head of infrastructure, with the DBAs, or with somebody who's providing you evidence, or with the development team, and also with management and with leadership and with everybody else in between, tech leads, etc., etc. With pen testing, you can kind of just focus on like, if you want to be a network pen tester, you'd be like, if you really love Active Directory, that's it. Just do tons of Active Directory and enjoy doing it. Become a master of Active Directory. Same like for me for like web stuff. If you really like web applications and you like building them and you think that HTTP is kind of quirky and fun to work with, then that's it. That's your answer. So I think most of the pros and cons are actually kind of bucketed into where you work. So regardless of your job, you can have a great time in cybersecurity, or you can have a really terrible time in cybersecurity. And even across like the same job role, like you could be a pen tester at multiple organizations and you could be doing amazing pen tests, interesting projects, or you could be running Nessus scans. That's like, and you're still a pen tester, if that makes sense. So yeah, it really depends what excites you. If you had to spend the rest of today studying something or doing something, which would it be? And choose that one is I think the best way. Do like the whole make a choice. If you regret the choice, do the other thing. And if you don't regret the choice, just do that thing. I think that's the best way to sum it up. But I think with GRC, well, with pen testing, you obviously have like shorter projects. Usually you're on like 2 weeks to 1 month projects. Maybe you have a 1 week engagement sometimes. With GRC, you're going to have like a huge PCI DSS audit once a year. That's going to be really stressful. And then through the rest of the year, you're doing like compliance activities and things like that. So it's kind of like, once per year, you're going to be really stressed. And then the rest of the time, it's not too bad. With pen testing, sometimes you've got back-to-back projects that are really like, you haven't got enough time and you've got to do tons of stuff, and the client's being a pain in the ass, and they haven't even given you access, and they're not responding to your emails, and like, you might have just stress all the time if you don't manage, or if they're not managed properly, the clients. So I think that's also something to consider. All right. Ooh, Hamza. So I've actually. Oh no, I can't show you them. I have a bunch of diagrams on my desk. I've been sketching out the one of the apps that's going to be part of the PWP. Give me like a month, and we'll see. But it's coming soon. It's coming very soon. Yeah, I'm actively working on PWP now, which is going to be fun, and it's going to be a lot of cool stuff. I don't want to say too much, because if I get going, I'll like spill secrets, and then that would be bad. But yeah, I'm actively working on it now. All right. Let me answer one more question, and then let's jump into a box, and then I'm going to come back and answer some more questions, because I can see there are tons of really good questions in the chat, and I want to answer all of them. Yeah, today you guys are on fire with questions today. But let me answer one more, and then we'll circle back, and then we should be all good. Let me answer two, because this one, Ambitions 13. So good free network courses. So I used Professor Meza back in the day. I know there are some others that have popped up since, but I still think that that's like you know, that, and then you can look at like the Cisco stuff, because I think Cisco is pretty relevant if you want to go deeper onto networking. But that would be my maybe this is kind of a old school recommendation, because honestly, I haven't looked at like networking in like 10 years, probably more than 10 years. So if somebody in the chat is like, oh, this is a more modern, up to date, and better resource, then feel free to share. But my opinion, like 10 years ago, I did like Professor Meza stuff more than 10 years ago, and I still find it like that knowledge is still useful for me today. So that's good. And which Linux distro would I recommend for daily use? I would say Ubuntu. Like honestly, like I know like there's a lot of Linux purists who kind of look down on Ubuntu for some reason, probably just because it's the most popular Linux distro. But Ubuntu is really stable, has good long-term support. I'm going to be controversial here and say that I really like Debian, but that is a complete personal preference. If I'm looking at it objectively, I shouldn't be using Debian. I should be using Ubuntu. Mint is also really nice because it's very lightweight. I don't really have a lot of experience with like Fedora and some other flavors, but yeah, like Ubuntu is probably the best. Mint is very nice and lightweight. Debian's my personal quirky one that I like to use. That's the I don't know. Some people use Arch, and you know, and, yeah, good luck to them. I tried that once and wasted 2 days of my life. So, all right, let me come and find a box. Hey, I clicked the right button. Okay, so let's take a look at Takeover. Oh no, I've just started the wrong machine. Whoops, terminate. Lo-fi. Okay, let me look at lo-fi. Hold on. Lo-fi is the one we're doing. And Takeover is the, I need to join the room. Okay, join the room, start the machine. Lo-fi is the backup one because this one looks quite straightforward. So while that's running. There we go. Okay, we're good. And then let's do. All right, it's got to spin up, so we're all good. Let me come back to the chat, and while that's spinning up. Oh, how do I take this off? There we go. All right, now we can see everything. We're good. Otherwise, we're going to get our terminal cut off from the bottom. And here we go. Okay, so what does this challenge say? Want to hear some lo-fi beats to relax or study to? We've got you covered. Access this challenge by deploying the vulnerable machine by pressing, oh, yeah, I know how to start the machine. And then navigate to HTTP and find the flag. Okay, cool. One flag, easy as pie. Let's ping this box. Okay, looks like it's alive. So let's just do nmap-a on here, output normal, scan.initial, and then we should be good. Ooh. Oh no, I missed out space. Huh. Helps when I get the IP address correct and my my space is correct. Let me just grab my water. There we go. Okay. All right. Okay, so we've got just SSH, 8.2 P1. Is reasonably up to date. There's probably nothing here that's that interesting. Technically, we could try and brute force SSH. much more interesting is port 80 is open, HTTP, Apache 2.2.22. Okay. Probably nothing too exciting in terms of exploits against this version. Off the top of my head, we might have to search, and we have lo-fi music. And let's just pull up Burp Suite and start taking a look at our target. Oh, this is a good question. While I'm loading up Burp Suite, if I could start my job again, what would I change? I would be more confident in taking roles earlier. So one thing I wouldn't change is that I did a year or like a stint as a developer, and I think I learned a lot there. But then, like, I wasted a couple of years after that in roles that I didn't really learn that much. There were roles that I could do, rather than being like, yeah, I want to, like, getting an AppSec role. I could have had 2 extra years of AppSec, or 2 extra years of pen testing, or 2 extra years on a security team if I hadn't have kind of gone through. So I kind of like moved into a security role. It was quite chill. And then I moved into another security role, and I was doing a little bit more like hands-on stuff. But once again, it wasn't like, well, I wasn't really learning very much, and it was very comfortable. And then I moved a third time, and everything was on fire. So, and I learned a ton of stuff, and it was great. And I wouldn't do it again now. That particular role, being on like a 2-man security team for a company, but I learned a lot of the time. It's like the trials by fire. I would do that a lot sooner, I think. That's the biggest thing. So yeah. I think that's what I'd do differently. I would live stream earlier as well, because I started live streaming when I was living in Tokyo, like 4 years ago or something, maybe 5 years ago. I would start just live streaming, like Hack the Box and stuff, like years earlier. I think that would be my thing. Let's come to open browser. We're doing a box called, what's it called? Lo-fi. So L-O-F-I or Lo-fi. This one, Lo-fi music. Oh, this is like, is it Lo-fi Girl? I can't remember. She's famous. She's got like so many subscribers on YouTube. And then there's so many people that tried to copy this as well. But yeah, Lo-fi. 14 million subscribers. What? Crazy. Worth it though, because the channel's really good. Okay, so we've got this, and then proxy, HTTP history. Let's see what we've got. Oh my god, I've just filled up my whole history of YouTube. Because like, you go to one YouTube page and look at the junk. I mean, come on, there's 150 requests. What's wrong with you, YouTube? Learn how to make a clean application, please. Okay, so here's our request. This is the problem with modern applications. Computers are too fast these days. Developers are lazy. No offense if you're a developer, but things are not built like they used to be, where you had to actually figure out like performance and make things work nicely. Okay, so we've got this. We've got some inline styles. Nothing too crazy on here. Are there any other posts? So where is this going to? This is YouTube. Let's get rid of all of this. And let's add this to the scope. Okay, so hopefully we're hiding out of scope items. Okay, I can see an interesting vector already. So I'll give you like 10 seconds in the chat. What are we going to look at next? I'm not saying that this is necessarily like the way, but what's the thing that stands out from this page and functionality? We'll give everybody a few seconds to Oh, LPP's got it already. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, lo-fi means LFI. Yeah, the page parameter, nice one. Yeah, this is it. So I think this is probably the way. So let's just throw this into repeater and let's do something like etc passwd. I'm assuming the target is Linux, but whoops, let's put a space there. Otherwise we break our HTTP request. Oh no. Yeah, okay. Hacker detected. Stop hacking, you stinking hacker. What's funny is, like, back when I was a teenager, me and my friend, we built this online text-based RPG. And it was kind of like, if you've ever played like Torn City or something like this, it was basically like that. And somebody actually exploited one of the pages using SQL injection. This was my first ever introduction to security back when I was like 14 or 13 or something. And then what I did is I actually put something like this in the app that would write to a log file in my PHP. And so basically, if you sent any requests, because most of it was through the query string, so you could like go and do a mission, and it'd be like, the mission ID would be in the query string. So if you sent like single quotes through the query string, it would basically just like dump the page and be like, hey, stop trying to hack, we've logged this. And to make it scarier, I'd like echo like their IP address and stuff onto the page to try and make it like as scary as possible, and then like output it into a log file. Funnily enough, after some research though, somebody did manage to do something. And I was like doing OSINT. Basically, by OSINT I mean I was like googling their IP address and some other things, and like the username of their character and stuff that they'd created within our game. And I found out they're like they were an IT teacher or like a lecturer at a university in Europe. And then I sent them a message. I was like saying, "Oh, is this you?" And then they kind of went off on one. And then after their initial surprise, they were like, "Well, it's not me anyway, so it doesn't matter." And I was like, "Ha, get out, stop hacking my website." So yeah, this is probably the reason I got into cybersecurity from like a reasonably young age. It was that. And then I started doing hack this site, which like it still exists. This site is like decades old. And this was like my first. After that, I started doing the challenges on Hack This Site, where there'd be like random JavaScripts like hidden off the page and stuff like this. Or you needed to like change the get request to like a post request, and you'd solve the lab and stuff like that. This is how I got into cybersecurity a long time ago. But it's cool that that website still exists. And then I spent like my latter teen years doing RootMe, which was pretty nice. Okay, so let's try and bypass this. This is a problem. So the Linux file system is case sensitive. So if we change this to like an uppercase and it goes through, it's just going to be like, oh, it didn't find this. But it might pass in the parameter to lower and then give us a result. It doesn't. Okay, so but it's always worth a try. Let's try this. Ooh, okay. So etc passwd doesn't exist. So maybe it's just this. This looks like it's gonna match this exact string. So maybe we can just do something like this. Whoops. There are so many different variations we can do here. Yeah. Okay. So we've got file inclusion. Nice. So we've got LFI. So here we could also think about encoding. We could also think about doing like // or like if the // gets stripped out, you put in // and then if it's not recursive, it like removes the // and then ends up with // if that makes sense. So the lack of recursion is kind of a common CTF filter. There are so many different like variations of this. Well, if you look at a fuzzing list, you can see them all. Okay, so we have LFI, and we need a flag. So, I wonder if it's just in flag, or is it going to be in like /root / oh no, there it is. that was pretty straightforward. Okay, let's grab this. Oh, that's it. Stream done. Okay. Yeah, congratulations. We win. If I didn't get this straight away, don't worry, we've got another box lined up because this one did look like it was going to be suspiciously easy. If I send this to intruder, you can probably fuzz this and then user share. Oh, I don't have sec lists installed, but if we go to sec lists, let me pull up Chrome. There's some good lists in here. So fuzzing, LFI, and the LFI Jihadix is pretty good. So this is Jason Haddix. So this is a good list. I don't know about the others. I don't think I've really looked at the others properly. If there's another good list in there, then let me know. But like, if we just grab this, you can see here you go, all of the like different ways to try and get past the filters and filter evasion. There's so many different ways of doing it. If I come into here, let's just pull up our terminal, come into our word lists, wget this, come back to here, load word lists. Where is it? Oh, I do have sec lists. It's there. But anyway, we could fuzz this, for example. And then we can try and look at the length. And then, for example, what we could try and do is filter on something like roots, because we know that Etsy passwd is going to return the passwd file, and that has the keyword root in it. So if we filter on this and we look at the response, and then we go roots like this, and then we auto scroll to it, you can see all of these payloads all worked. So that's quite a few. Oh, that's an interesting one. Ah, no, this is a false positive because it has roots in the payload. Yeah, same with these. These are all false positives. But the ones that are 4851, these ones are all successful. So these ones have got like the null byte terminator, which is probably not doing anything in this case, etc. So I think when you're doing boxes, like spending a little bit of extra time to like figure out all of the cases, these are like encoded ones, and thinking about why something worked is quite valuable. And I think that's something that I didn't do when I started doing like Hack the Box. As soon as I solved it, I'd be like, yay, flag, done. Let's go to the pub or something like this. Whereas now, like I'm quite careful. I try and go through the box, try and find the misconfiguration, have a look through the code, really understand what's happening and why the vulnerability exists. So, oh, nice. Yeah, I see. So Eldritch did it with FUF instead. FFUF is a great tool. So that's pretty nice. Sometimes like I do use FUF for a bunch of things, but like for fuzzing specific things, I just find it easier with Burp Suite because then I don't have to remember loads of commands and stuff and flags and things. I can just for like a ease of use, laziness perspective, I find Burp Suite a little bit easier, but FUF is a great tool as well. All right. Let's have a look at another box then, since this one is done. Double points tonight, assuming that we find all the flags. All right, it's going to take a minute to spin up. Let me come back to some of the questions while it's spinning up. Ooh, watching at work. Any tips on studying while at work? I mean, I don't want you to get into trouble. Like, obviously, try and try and do your work. Um, I would say depending on your setup. So, for example, when I was commuting, I used to watch some things. I tried to watch like walkthroughs on my phone, but it wasn't really that useful because I was just watching them and I wasn't really absorbing them. To really get the most of like AppSec videos, for example, you actually need to be like writing out the commands and doing what he's doing to really understand it. So I'd say, depending on one, like if you have distractions and stuff, then you need to keep things like really not very deep. And so try and study things that are more reinforcement material. But if you are at work and you can put your headphones in and you can have a small YouTube video there and you can follow along fully, then do that. But I would say like change your approach to study based on like your surroundings and what you have access to is the main thing. So depending on your work, you may or may not have like distractions. When I was studying for exams before, I used to go in 2 hours early and I'd book a meeting room and I'd sit in the meeting room and I would study, and then I would start at 9, as everybody else was coming in. And then yeah, that worked really nicely for me because I could do that pretty much every day undisturbed. If I was at my desk, people would come in, they'd be like, hey, good morning, do you want coffee? How was your evening? What are you doing? It's Friday, blah, blah, blah. If you're in a meeting room with your headphones on, like nobody's disturbing you. And if they do, then, just tell them to jog on and you're all good. Let me keep scrolling down. Answer a few more questions. Oh, this is a good question. So, there's another C2 that's free, which I can't remember the name of, that I used years and years ago. That is kind of similar to Cobalt Strike, and I used that first to learn, and then my company bought the licenses for Cobalt Strike and then switched over. I would say if you know how to use like a C2 tool, like a well-established one, it's not that different. It's just the UI differences. And to be honest, picking up the UI isn't that difficult. So just focus on that generally. Otherwise, do what APTs do and get a find a copy somewhere. I shouldn't be saying that on live stream, but like, it's some people have to do that, unfortunately. Let me keep scrolling down. Oh, how did I find the box was Linux? I didn't. I just guessed. 99.9 of percent of web servers are Linux boxes. So it was a fair guess. I wonder if it was in the header actually, or in the nmap scan. Hold on. Let's come back to here. So here we scanned the box. Yeah, so from the headers, it thinks it's Ubuntu. So this tells us that it's Linux. But to be honest, unless you're working at like a dinosaur bank, pretty much everybody runs Linux web servers. It's only like banks and old systems that run like Microsoft IIS, which I don't know, like running an IIS web server in 2025 is baffles me. Why would you do that? I mean, yeah, it's tricky. Yeah, this is it. I'd be surprised to see Windows with SSH as well. Yeah, because usually you're using things like RDP and stuff like that when you're in a Windows environment. Let me keep scrolling down. All right, this box is up. So let's take a look at this next one, and then I'll come back and answer a few more questions. What's this one called? Takeover. Okay, let's see what this one's got in store for us. Let me switch back to the chat as well so that I can see. Oh. Okay. I'm just going to restart Burp Suite because that's just the easiest way to like clean it out and make sure everything is all nice and smooth. Okay, let's take a look at this box. What does it say? Hello there. I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders of FutureVera.thm. In FutureVera, I don't know how to say this. In FutureVera, we believe that the future is in space. We do a lot of space research and write blogs about it. We used to help students with space questions, but we are rebuilding our support. That's probably a hint there. Recently, Black Hat hackers approached us saying that they could take over and asking us for a big ransom. Please help us find what they can take over. Our website is located at https://futurevera.thm. Don't forget to add it to Etsy hosts. Okay, let's do that first then. In fact, actually, let's not. No, let's keep Burp Suite open because we're gonna need it anyway. Probably. Grab the IP, paste, save, quit. Okay, so let's ping this box. It's up, and let's mmap-a output normal scan dot initial and see what we find. It sounds like a web box, but I don't know. There could be some other random services kicking around. All right. Let's see. So Ubuntu again, 80.443, common name, and that's it. Okay. All right, let's take a look. In fact, let's do this. Open browser. We want to go to the actual website name, not. Interesting. In the notes, it actually tells you that it's on HTTPS. I wonder if there's a difference between the HTTP version. They look the same. Oh, no, this one's been... we get forwarded to HTTPS anyway, even if we try to HTTP. Okay. We might have to curl that later on and see what's going on. Or we can have a look in Burp Suite and see what's going on. Okay, so Future Vera. If we got... we're not in... Doesn't matter. I was going to look at Wappalizer, but we're in the Burp Suite browser, so that's fine. We can come back and take a look at that later. So a quick look in here. Just because it's a CTF. I don't usually look at like the page source straight away when I'm like if I'm doing a web app pen test, but I mean I will have like a look in the JavaScript and stuff, but usually you can find, I say usually, sometimes you can find hints and stuff in CTF, so it's always worth just taking a peek. So we've just got some images, then we've got Bootstrap, and then we've got this JavaScript scripts. This file is intentionally left blank. Okay, cool. Sounds good to me. And then there's probably nothing in the Bootstrap file. So, okay. So we could start looking at subdomains and also looking at directories. And also, since it's HTTPS, we can also look at the certificates. So if we look at the details, it's a little easier to see in Firefox usually. But no alternative name. Okay, let's proxy HTTP history. Let's send this to intruder. Let's do not subdomain, directory busting first, and we'll also do subdomain as well, just because I always get confused with my FFUF subdomain busting, and so this is an easier, quick setup. So let's just get payloads, and let's just do directories long and see what happens here. And then while that's running, we can come to here, and I can try and remember the syntax for FUF. So what we want to do is we want to do FFUF, and then we need a word list, and then we need a host header. So we want host : fuzz dot, what's the website called again? This thing. And then -u. So I think HTTPS. And I can't remember what the difference is, but you'll get different results usually if you fuzz subdomains against an IP versus against a actual domain name, because they get handled differently, which is kind of annoying. And let's put this word list in and see whether this works. So word lists. Where are my word lists? Oops. It's capital S, that's why. Is it discovery, DNS? Let's do subdomains top. Let's do 20,000 since we're on a VPN, should be okay. That looks correct to me. And then once this comes back, we then need to filter on the size. $4605, like this. Ooh, okay. We got a couple straight off the bat, which is quite nice. Okay. Oh, yeah, since Burp community throttles intruder, why not teach fuzzing using a tool that doesn't? Yeah, so I mean, the thing is also, like, you can do everything obviously in open source tools, but as soon as you start like a pen test or a web app pen testing job, you're going to be using like Burp Suite Pro because the company is going to buy it for you, or if you're working as a consultant, then you're going to buy the license for yourself. So you've got to be able to use Burp Suite Pro, I think, as a as a pen tester. Oh, bugger, I just closed these results without reviewing them. So we just got 301, 301, 301. Okay, that's not that important. And alternatively, you can use Kaido, which is, I think, a nice tool as well, and still has some really nice features. So, I just feel like I tried to show everything. But I think it's important to, even if you don't have access to Burp Suite Pro, at least see what it can do, if that makes sense. Because like things like Collaborator, and some of the like the scanner and some of the pro extensions are really, really useful. So, and you'd probably be expected to be able to use them when you walk into a job. All right, so let's add blog and supports. So sudo micro etc hosts, and then let's grab these. And then, what was it? Supports. What was the other one? Oh no, I've forgotten. The save quit. Support blog. dot save and quit. Okay, so let's clear this and then let's get rid of this. Actually, no, we need to browse to these. So support. Ooh, so we get a different site. Nice. And the other one was blog. Okay, and these are different. They both look pretty static. Yeah. Static site, static page even. Oops. And then this one. Even those links are probably dead. Oh no, they actually go to different places. So we'll take a quick look. Yeah, that just goes to... Okay. We might have to come back and actually read these pages and hello, Bubsweet, and kind of try and understand them. But let's take a look. See whether we can... we could directory bust on this one. Let's do that quickly because that doesn't take long. Try and decide like the optimal route and what I think is going to be like the most what's it called? The fastest way only. Let's start that. And let's do the same thing for, what did we just do on, this is on blog. So let's also just quickly take a look at support and throw that into Intruder as well. And what's interesting is on one of them, they had .html on all of the pages that were linked. So we might actually have to change our payload a little bit. Oops. So 403 on server status, otherwise 301s, and then just 404s. Not very exciting there. And then the other one, same thing, which is not expected. And then let's take a look at, I think we need to take a look at these certificates. I'm sure this is like a subdomain hunt because it's called takeover. So I assume it's related to like a subdomain takeover. I hate Chrome. Like, okay, let's come into Firefox. It's much easier to see these. Okay, here we go. Let's come to support. Advanced, view certificate, and then you can see everything, and it's really nice. You can probably do this on Chrome as well. I just don't know how. Oh, okay. I've spotted something. All right, I give you all, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds. Can you spot anything interesting on the certificate? Whoa. This is it. I'm actually like a serious Kaido fanboy. It's a really nice tool. I should use it more in my streams. I have the pro version or like the subscription version, and it's really nice. I love the JavaScript engine inside, so you can build workflows with JavaScript. It's really beautiful. It's just so sleek, and from a workflow perspective, really, really nice. Oh, nice. This is good to see. Started with Burp a week ago. All good. All right. DNS leak, DNS expired cert. Yeah, so this is it. This is the alt name here. So I presume this is supposed to be like a subdomain takeover example. So we have this DNS name that's like secret help desk 934.752.support.favera.thm. And I suspect if we add this, so the point here is this subdomain has been taken over. And then if we add this to our sudo micro etc hosts, I think subdomain takeover is a good one. If you're doing bug bounty, it's a good one to read up on and understand. Basically where you're pointing to like an asset and then you no longer own that asset and then somebody else like squats there and then uses your domain. Yeah, let's come back. I've closed. Why do I close everything all the time? You know what it is because I have 3 big monitors, not like trying to brag, but like I've like a really wide setup. So I've got the ultra wide in the middle and then 2 monitors. I have everything like really nicely spaced out. But when I'm streaming, I'm stuck in like one little box, and like tabbing through everything just is so confusing because I don't have to tab all of the time. Here we go. So you can see, wait, was that the, we get forwarded to an S3 bucket. So S3 website, uswest3.amazonaws.com. And then we get the flag here. So that is the subdomain takeover there. And that is the flag. Very nice. Yeah, that's a kind of an interesting one. Oh, TryHackme have changed their congratulations thing. You get forwarded to somewhere. That's not the page I want to be on. So why am I being forwarded? It's all good though. That's that box done. That was a bit of a fun one. Interesting, a little bit different. And the file inclusion one is kind of like a classic CTF as well. So that's pretty good. And yeah, the certificate probably expired. I didn't see that. As Ethan says here, and I suspect it's self-signed as well, so it's probably not like a legit certificate. So it's all good though. Although I feel like more boxes should have certificates because it's not difficult to get one. You know, when you spin up a box to get it from Let's Encrypt. Let me come back to here. All right, let's take a few more questions before we wrap up. Yeah, this is a good point. So FFUF, because it's written in Go and not Java, it's unsurprisingly much faster than Burp Suite is. Burp Suite is good though. So for example, like, let me show you. You can do some really useful things, which just makes your workflow so much faster. So for example, here, like what I can do is if I come into payloads, we can add payload processing. So instead of just having like a pre-built list, I can just be like, oh, okay, I want to add a suffix and I want to add .html to them all. And I also want to like URL encode all of my stuff. Let me hide this for a second. You can switch on or switch off URL encoding, for example. You can use a different number of resource pools. You can switch on auto forwarding, which is in here somewhere. Redirections you can follow. I mean, you can do all of this in FUF as well, but it's like remembering all of the flags and setting it all up is kind of a pain. And so like, and in here, like we can grep for results, we can match stuff, we can flag things. There are also a number of plugins that kind of like go into Intruder as well. And also in the past, when I've been looking at like mass assignment and then testing, so if I've created like 10,000 accounts, I've had to log into 10,000 accounts and then do like a not a diff, but compare the content length to logging into other accounts or what I was expecting. And I can do that in macros in Burp Suite, but you can't do that in FFUF. So with FUF, like I might fuzz for mass assignment, but then how do I check 10,000 accounts without logging in manually? And I can do that in Burp Suite. I can fuzz them all, log into them all, and then compare the final results. And so in cases like that, I think the Burp Suite is much more powerful, even if it is a little bit slower. So, but I mean, I recommend people use both, use the right tool for the right situation and the right job. If you've got to fuzz a ton of directories, like if you want to fuzz 500,000 directories, use FFUF for sure. But if you're just doing like 20,000, then Burp Suite is fine. Like you're not going to notice the difference between like 2 seconds. So yeah, it's not really too crazy. Why do I not try Web3 bug bounty? I don't do a lot of like Web3 stuff. It's something that has been on my to-do list for so long. I have been doing like some study around it, and I have done some little bit of work around Web3 stuff. I wouldn't say it's my forte at all, but yeah, not enough time in the day. That is the real answer. There are so many things to do, and on top of my job, I'm already doing like extracurricular stuff to do with cybersecurity and hacking and stuff. And then on top of that, trying to stay healthy, looking after my cats, and trying to keep some balance in my life. So this is the real reason. Will I be at API days? No, I don't think so. New York is a long way to travel for me. I'm from Europe, so like getting over to New York City is quite a big deal. I will be at DEF CON, I think. Best effort to get to DEF CON. Unless there's a good reason that I'm not going, I will be at DEF CON. So it's a direct flight that takes like 1,000,000 hours. This is an expensive direct flight, I presume, but don't get me wrong, I really want to visit New York at some point. My mum worked there for a few years. She was working out for some company out there. She's retired now, but she also works in tech, or worked in tech. But there you go. Yeah, I can. So a long time ago, I used to use aliases quite a lot, but then I kind of got to the point where I don't feel like they save me that much time in the grand scheme of things. And even though I occasionally make mistakes, I just, I think if I was working on a target for like, if I wasn't doing a CTF and I was on a target for like a week or something, then for sure I would use it. But I think just for one-off boxes, I don't bother these days. But yeah, aliases can be useful for sure. Yeah, if you're coming to DEF CON, hit me up. If you're in the area, come and say hi. We'll be doing some like chill stuff as well. So if you don't like being in like big crowds of people, or something like that, then we'll definitely be going out for like some beers and food and stuff like that afterwards. So if you want to meet in like a smaller group setting where it's not like quite so triggering, because I know that not everybody likes the whole vibe of DEF CON, then let us know. It's all good. Where am I in the UK? This sounds like a creepy question. Let's just say London. I'm in the south. I'm around London. So if you guys are going to like the OWASP London meetup, then I usually go to that. So yeah, this is my regular meetup that I tend to go to. All right, let's answer 2 or 3 more questions. I'm just going to flip over from the live chat into the pinned questions. 50 pinned questions. Oh my god. Okay. You guys have been making Brit work hard tonight. I see so many pinned questions. I appreciate it, but poor Brit, she's had to be on it for the last couple of hours. Actually, well, hour and 15 minutes or so. But yeah, even still. Let me scroll down. Some of them are to do with the box as I was going along, so I missed those. Can I bypass IP restrictions on an API request? Yes, there are different techniques to this. Usually, when we're hunting for things like SSRF within APIs, this is something that you can do. So, for example, you can try and change 127.0.0.1 to 127.1, for example. You can try using an IPv6 address. You can use other alternatives like 0000. You can see how it responds to like null. You can try and pad your IP address. So you might put some padding either side, depending on the system and how it's set up and all sorts of other things. Yeah, bypassing filters, you've got to get creative. But if you have a look online, there'll be some like IP bypass cheat sheets that will get you started off for sure. Let me keep scrolling down. Oh, a beginner who's starting should go to Web 2 or Web 3 since Web 3 is going to be broad. I don't think that Web 3 is going to be like taking over everything. I think this is like a fantasy. Just the same as I think that, Bitcoin is still alive, but it's still not that useful. It's still not, like currencies, normal currencies still exist. And in 10 years, Web 2 will still exist. And it will still probably be the go-to for most web applications. I think Web 3 is like a niche. And I think some web applications benefit a lot from Web 3 for sure. But it's only very particular industries that are going to lean that way. So this is my thoughts on that. I'm working in Alex's backyard stairs. What? What is happening? Oh dear. I feel like that could be taken out of context in lots of different ways. So I'll have to see what's going on in the chat for that one. I have a nice garden, by the way. I don't know, it's probably on social media somewhere, but I've got a pond, a catio, some nice chairs, lots of trees. I'm like a garden snob now because I do have a nice garden. So it's all good. All right, let's answer one more question and we'll wrap up for today. Really appreciate everybody coming to hang out. It's nice to be streaming again. Although, Andrew Prince, Andrew Bellini do awesome live streams and it's good for variety as well, but it's nice to actually be streaming again. So all good. Let's answer this last one. So can I bypass the location restriction on any website? Yeah, there's two major ways to do this. The easy way is a VPN. The second easy way is call somebody who's in the country and get them to access it for you, or tell them to open up like TeamViewer, do remote access to their machine, and then access it that way. So there's loads of ways to get past location restrictions for sure. VPN's usually the easiest and most accessible. Depending on the type of VPN, things will change. And also remember that often your session is cached. And so if you try and you log into a service and it's like you're restricted, and then you switch on your VPN and suddenly your location changed, the app is like, no. That session has already come from like, London. That's still not allowed in. So, close down all your browsers, spin up incognito, switch your VPN on, and then try and reaccess the application. I think this is a common mistake with people trying to use VPNs, and they're like, "Oh, it doesn't work." It does. You just need to do it from fresh. Will Heath ever come back semi-regular? So Heath is so busy, like he's got so much on his plate. I think he will drop in to do random streams here and there. Obviously, we'd love it if he could do more streams, but I don't think he'll be coming back to do regular streams, at least not like on our regular Wednesday slot. But if you're watching Heath, you're always welcome to come do a stream. But I'm sure at some point he'll come up for some air. But like I say, Heath is such a busy guy, running TCM, doing all of the other stuff that he does. I don't know how he finds time to sleep, personally. I like my sleep, so so it's all good. All right, that's it for this week. Thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll catch you all next week for another